frowned. "We were thinking how far ahead those insufferable Italians at the University of Turin are in the development of pyroglycerin," Milly said. "Although we cannot share our work with the world, a few men are privy to our research and take us seriously. England cannot afford to fall behind in this area." Mrs. Sweet's voice could now be heard above the din, her lilting West Indian accent softening the severity of her shouted evacuation orders. Doors opened along the corridor as women emerged from their labs in various states of excitement. Many wore canvas aprons over their dresses, and some sported thick padded gloves. "Must we leave? My work is at a delicate stage," complained a fine-boned woman dressed in a modest though expertly tailored blue wool dress. "Who was it this time?" "Letty," Violet greeted the petite mathematician. "Help me get everyone out of the laboratories and into the public rooms so we can decide what to do." Miss Letitia Fenley, club secretary for Athena's retreat, set about her duties at once, and Violet sent a prayer of thanks heavenward for her efficiency. 20 minutes later, Violet stood in the club's common area. Its decor echoed those in the men's clubs of St. James's Street. While oak wainscoting lined the lower half of the walls, the upper half had been painted a cheerful cranberry. At one end of the room, a fire blazed in a large hearth framed by a mantel of speckled marble. "If I might have your attention," Violet called out. 20 or so women, ranging in age from 18 to 85, turned their faces to Violet. Despite the circumstances, her pride and joy in what they'd created here buoyed her spirits. These members of the true Athena's retreat were sworn to secrecy, bound by a set of rules that encouraged the sharing of knowledge and the protection of one another. Violet's bubble of happiness punctured at the sight of Mrs. Sweet, arms folded and lips pursed in a disapproving moo. Violet ventured a tentative wave in the housekeeper's direction. Mrs. Sweet did not wave back. Drat. "We had a small accident this evening," Violet announced. "You mean Milly and Willy were at it again?" A dry, cultured voice cut through the amused murmuring. "Ahem." Violet shot a warning glance at the commentator, Lady Phoebe Hunt. Violet had hoped to avoid a discussion of Milly and Willy's propensity for damage. A benefit of Athena's retreat connecting to my home, Beacon House, is the ability to pass off some of the phenomena that occur here as coming from my kitchen. "Your cook is not going to like it," Letty noted. "Thank you, Miss Fenley, for the reminder," Violet said. "As club president, I delegated to you to figure out an alternate explanation for the noise and record the explanation in our club diary." Letty blinked in consternation, but Violet had other concerns. "We must cut our activities short tonight," she continued. "Otherwise, we risk exposing the truth of what happens behind the public rooms." "Is the threat of explosion over?" Lady Phoebe leaned back and kicked one expensive boot onto a stool, flipping a hand in Milly's direction. "I don't want my work burnt to a crisp because these two reckless—" "Reckless? Brilliant, rather," Willy said. "Some day our work will change the economy of the whole of Britain." The flapping of her cap, which hung from the side of her topknot like a singed flag, offset Willy's indignation as she waved her arms to make a point. "You, on the other hand, would rather feature in the gossip papers and finish your work. I haven't seen hide nor hair of any advances in the so-called process of electrolysis." Violet interrupted this conversation before it turned into a protracted row. "Either way, can we call a halt to any experiments posing the threat of explosion? Please remember, we host our first public event in a month."